minutes. I don't know which one. mean, that bill.
Give that to Leon there, that's the number they can call to set up a vaccination.
Thank you.
All right.
Until next
Are we
month.
ready? Okay. I'm gonna call this Telequa School Board meeting to order and tell Wendy that we're all here and turn it over to Christine Emo for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Tonight we have Keaton Palmer in 4th grade, Miss Patrick's class. His parents are Hunter and Courtney Palmer. And his interest in activities, softball, Keaton Palmer, she is in 4th grade. And her teacher is Miss Patrick and her parents are Hunter and Courtney Palmer. And her interests are softball, dance, Cherokee Challenge Bowl, and student council.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tiger's Roar.
All right, this time we have Coach Kirby. Thank him for being here tonight, and we have a pretty special deal this year with one of our athletes. Have him share that with you.
Yes, we had a girl for the first time this year win a state title in wrestling. This was the first year that Oklahoma had sanctioned state wrestling for women. And she won a state title at 100 pounds. That's the lowest weight class for girls wrestling. She was the first one in the state of Oklahoma to do that.
That's awesome.
I have a question. Now, she wrestled at state in the women's wrestling.
Yes, yes, sir.
When she competes here, is she competing against boys as well as girls?
She can. So we did use it for a couple of duels with the boys, but they had a girls and boys, so she could go either way.
How did she do against the boys?
She won a few matches against the boys. So we actually used it for district duels, and she went and defeated that day. So she's kind of.
And in what grade is she?
She's a junior. Yes.
Good for her.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the minutes for previous meetings.
I'm going to approve January 19 and February 23rd minutes.
Second. Any discussion? Ms. Walker? Mr. Shepherd? Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the monthly financial reports. Hi, Diane.
Hi. Cash balance in the general fund at the end of February is $6,886,582.91. Building fund is at $825,296.63. We did not receive our co-op payment yet, so we're in the negative there, $71,880.74. Again, we don't panic until we get to late May, and then we start bothering them about when we're gonna get that check. Sinking fund is now up to $2,289,144.04. Our cash total in the bank is $9,929,142.84. Collections for the month of February, $3,613,855.56. That would be page 4. Building fund is collected at $151,212.08, page 6. Nothing for co-op, nothing for the bond issue or the bond fund, and then sinking fund, page 8, is at $720,799.63. Expenditures for payroll in the month of February, $2,353,267.44. Accounts payable, both general and building fund, $521,000, $362.11. Any questions about general building bond co-op sinking? Activity is actually on page 18, not on page 21. Don't know what happened with my technical difficulty there, but we had just a little one. Activity cash is at $644,722.06. CDs invested are at $256,417.58 for a total of $901,139.64.
I had a question as I was going through this, and Brenda, thank you for
Yes.
putting this online, I appreciate that. But I saw one thing where, and I'm not sure where it is, Diane, but we had a bill for 60-some cents to one of the banks or something, you know what I'm talking about, Diane?
We had a
And it said paid, check or debit. And I was hoping we didn't write a check for 60-some cents too.
legally, that's the only way I can actually do that, so yes, it would cost almost as much as the stamp, so.
So we spent how much money
I don't, the only,
writing a check for 60-some cents and mailing it in?
okay, you're not gonna believe this, but about 4 years ago, I had to write one for 10 cents. And it was a state requirement, so.
Could I go down and give them 10 cents or 60-some cents?
The 10 cent check,
It has to be done by check.
Mhm.
According to whom?
the law.
Well, I just thought that was kind of strange. and-
Do you remember what category it was under?
And
It's on page 15, I think. is what
did
he's-
you find it, Chris? Thank you.
the-
Oh, that's a deposit. This is a tracker for our, are you talking 14 or 15? This is our sweep
Yeah,
account.
electronic checks or other debits amount, yeah.
This one we do not write a check for. This one is in the sweep account. The money goes into the bank when it comes in and overnight, especially Fridays. We sweep that out, put that in a real high investment pot of money, and they sweep it back on Monday morning. We do that, Kevin Dudley, our treasurer, takes care of that and manages it. So that would be a deposit, not a payment.
So when we do have to write a check for 10 cents,
That hasn't
that
happened.
is because the state says we have to do that?
We don't
Um,
pay cash.
Yeah, we don't,
We have no
I
other
mean,
option.
I got really close to taping a dime to the statement and sending that, but I couldn't do it, so. But yes, it was a OESC payment, I think, and so we were short by 10 cents and covered the bill.
And I was just talking with Mr. Ashlock about the utility bill for the Board of Education for February being $921 for our utilities. This is Tahoe Public Works Authority, so I'm guessing that's electric and
Correct.
water and
It's electric, water, sewer, and other, which is trash. And then to the right side of that report is the NOPFA, so that will be our natural gas. And yes, we are planning for a very large increase next month.
well, that's fine, and we need to plan for that because I think we're all gonna be shocked by what we get. But I was shocked by seeing $900, $921 for this building.
Well,
When I myself in my house, which is probably a third or less the size of this, and my bill is like $120-some or something like that. Why this is so high?
Servers.
it's all Robert's fault. I'm just kidding.
I mean, again, like I said, it's, 16, 17, 20 people here. We got hundreds of people in at the front all day long, open the door, shut the door, come through. We have our servers
Servers back
out
there.
back here, use a lot of electricity. Older building, and all that combined with a cold month, it's just,
I can definitely do a comparison because now you've got.
Well, it's
materials
a
to compare on.
almost a $200 difference from last year. Have our utilities gone up? Can you see it? I
I
guess,
think
yeah.
that's something
Are you in, adding in the gas bill down below?
No, I was just talking about the electric, or just the Tahlequah Public Works Authority right now.
Okay, so
I
if
said,
you
the
look
gas
at,
bill is down, that's the one that's gonna, well, they're both gonna go up next month.
right, the top line, Ed, is for the building here, and the second line is for the annex. So that's actually a combination total of those two locations.
The second line. where-
That is for the
Yes.
personnel annex.
He's on the very last page, but this has the,
Okay.
It just had the
Maybe
BOE
it's the site.
total 920.
That's
Does. Yes, the BOE includes that second building location up on Mission Street.
Yeah, that's all those White House.
And that's also Robert's fault.
Yeah. So this is the total, it's
He has all
920,
this technology stuff in the background, you know.
but this 920 is for two, this building and the other as well.
Yes.
Well, that explains some more of it.
And Brenda's fault, because she has to run all these board reports.
I wonder if we're at a point at some time where we need to think about what we need to do or change we need to make, or insulation we need to do, or whatever, to make our utilities less than what they are.
We do, and that's ongoing at all the sites. I mean, it's a constant battle that we fight. And Mr. Jones, we have energy management software, and stay on top of it the best we can. And we pick an area and try to improve it and then move on. The thing is with so many areas that by the time you get to the end, the first one's in need of assistance
Yeah.
again. So it just takes a while to get through everything.
What would you estimate, Diane, that we spend on all utilities for a year?
For a year,
For all the schools, for this bill, everything?
we have been as high as $750,000, above 750,000, and we have been as low as 499,000 in the past 10 years. So it depends on, again, what type of winter we have, and even more so what kind of summer we have, as far as heat. This past summer, we were lucky, we had some hot days, but we didn't have 10 in a row over 100 degrees. Last year is probably not a good comparison year because we were basically closed from the middle of March till middle to late July.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to do a reasonably fair comp, I would have to go back probably 2, 3, 4 years maybe to get close. But I have a chart, Ed, that I can email to you, and it actually shows the utility total costs, fuel costs, insurance costs, and it's all on one chart. And I'd be happy to share that with you. And you'll be able to see the up, down.
How much thought have we given to solar energy?
We have met regarding the potential of what we might be able to do with that. It is very expensive on the front end, and it takes quite a few years to recover your investment. It's not something, unless we were doing a brand new building to begin that way, we probably wouldn't want to retrofit something else that we have right now. But again, there's always new options.
Well, you think about heritage
Yeah.
are always, because
Well-
I've been talking about that for 5 years.
And the other part of that is TPWA, once we reach a certain level of usage, we automatically fall into the commercial stage or tier 2, where we have an automatic demand charge, which is around $2,000. So Heritage has always had a demand charge. If you have a series of 3 months in a row with a downturn under the required usage, they can remove the automatic. We haven't had them take anything off. We've gotten close a couple times with the TMAC and the PAC, but those buildings require a lot of amperage and voltage to run their facilities. So we stay at a minimum in those locations with those demand charges. And Brad, to give him all the credit, he has really, really worked hard to make sure we shut them down, but not too far so that it takes, heaters are hard to get going sometimes. couple of locations where we have, like Mr. Ashlock said, the older units. You can't shut them off overnight. You have to just turn them down to a certain level so that once 5 o'clock hits, it can pick back up and recover, or it spends all day trying to recover. But he does a really good job. I want to say it was close to 80,000 that we saved last year with our energy management system overall.
Maybe we could build windmills over there.
I know the Fayetteville schools, a number of those schools use the solar. Might be something of interest to maybe send out an exploratory team to find out about that.
We've had a group here that kind of did a pseudo look at which buildings, and I think it was the PAC or was it the TMAC that they were looking at, maybe doing the TMAC. I remember something. I wish I could remember everything, but I know we met 2-3 years ago with them, and they drove around and looked, and they came up with an option. If we really wanted to move in that direction, they were willing to work with us to do the whole setup. But again, we're always looking at the bottom line. 3 years ago was not a good option for us to consider that as a real reality part of our budget.
I also think there's some limit, like I think the Talbot Public Works, so city utilities, like if you're using solar, unless you set it up to where it turns off, you know, if you're wanting to set it back into whatever the words are, like there's special permissions for that. And my understanding that the city of Talbot's not set up to do that on any kind of large scale.
You are
Not
correct.
the heritage side either.
Yeah.
We checked into that.
Like we wouldn't be able to do it unless we operated completely on.
On our own, right, you're correct. They draw it down, they store it in batteries, and then it gets pushed back for usage at another time. But yeah, you're right on that.
Diane, I have another question here. How much out of pocket are we on Mr. Pack's classroom and the rest of them that were damaged because of the leaks and so on?
I truthfully do not have a total yet. We will have one, but I don't.
Deductible on that, correct?
Yeah, I imagine we
Deductible
did
was pretty
25.
high.
Wasn't it 25? Okay, yeah, we approved a $25,000 deductible.
That's what our deductible is.
But I have not seen any finals. Are they finished, Chuck?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I mean, I might see a midway invoice that I would be happy to share with you, but I haven't even seen that.
Oh, well, surely hit the $25,000 deductible.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're looking at is 25 grand then.
I would say so.
Any other questions? Call for the vote.
I move that we accept the minutes or the financial report.
Second.
Ms. Emo?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd? Ms. Walker? Thank you, Diane.
You're very welcome.
Superintendent's report.
All right, first off, you can see that, I gave you the updated COVID numbers. Obviously trending in a good direction. It's only been 2 weeks since we left the meeting, but still, we're going in a very good direction. We've had 4 cases and they were all at the high school. 64 people quarantined during that time, so we can definitely see that vaccines and everything else is going on. We're moving in the right direction where we want to be. It's very, very encouraging for next year, start of school year.
Are those 4 all students or is that? Or do we have
Those were
staff?
all students, yes. The other thing, I need to run a date by the board to make sure you guys are okay with it. At next month's meeting, we'll set a date and time to sell bonds. Bonds the school already owes. And the bonding company would like to do May the 26th at noon. And we need to have at least 3 people here.
What day of the week?
It's a Wednesday, man.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm
I
fine.
was in the know. I can do it.
I can.
Okay, increase it can. Okay, so it looks like we'll at least have 3 people here, so, okay. And that will be an agenda item next month, just setting that date and that time. But I just want to clear with you guys before we put it on. And just a final thing, visiting with Mr. Shepherd, we did do a a reception just with the COVID and everything as it is. Yeah, but this is his last board meeting as an official board member. He's been, outstanding to work with. I've enjoyed getting to know him over the last year. We appreciate him stepping in and filling this important role. Brittany took care of some gifts for you. We got a little blanket there on front and got you a pocket knife with your name on it. And so card signed by everybody here. We do appreciate you. I think you've done an outstanding job. If any board members would like to say anything else this time.
Thank you.
Great
Appreciate
job,
it.
Sean.
It was some trying times, but
Yes.
definitely learned a lot, and I appreciate everyone's trust and allowing me to serve. And, I graduated from here and went to school here my whole life, so it has a special place in my heart. My kids are in the school system, so just glad that I could step in and help out, and hopefully, maybe in the future I'll be around if y'all need any further assistance. So thank you all.
Well, thank you, Sean.
We do appreciate you.
Great job.
Okay,
Do we have any public to be heard?
No, ma'am.
Comment, Dana, I just.
Go ahead.
Because I think.
Talk away.
The thing, I just want to say, I totally on before we started today, but, we have online enrollment this year, and I did it, and it was amazing. So Robert and whoever else was involved in that, kudos, like I enrolled both of my kids in probably less than 15 minutes, and I was able to sign everything online. I have a new student that I have to do, so I have to gather up all the documents, but it was, compared to what I had to do last year, it was fantastic. So congratulations and thank you to everyone involved in that, because it was really, really easy.
I really had nothing to do with it.
just like Woodward.
He was
Ms.
over
Whitmer,
here for utility bills,
Well, everyone, it was real, I mean, it was impressive, like most of the fields were auto-filled. I think the Boys and Girls Club, I had to re-put my address in, but most of them I clicked the key boxes and signed, and it was really, really easy. And typically I have two that are the same, so I have to write everything twice, and it was just fantastic. I said, I hope that we're keeping that, and he said, oh, yes, we are. So anyway, I
Well,
was,
our enrollment clerk, Vanessa, has done a lot of the legwork, and Brittany has guided her through her knowledge of the software. But it really, I mean, you've done stuff, you've posted stuff for us.
I kind of put it off for a while.
It has been a year, a little bit over a year in process.
It's kind of one of those things as a parent, you're like, oh, I gotta get all this stuff and write all the things, and it was so easy.
Good,
It was really, really easy. So parents who are waiting, do it. It's quick and fast and easy.
Thanks for sharing. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the following surplus.
And to approve the surplus, G1 and 2.
I noticed there was a lot of music things there. I hope they're not discontinuing the music program at Heritage.
No.
All that stuff is going, so I'm assuming that she's replacing it with new.
Yeah, I was actually in one of those classrooms today, and some of the stuff they have on this list still had floppy disk in them. So it's just older stuff that's not used that they're getting rid of.
Who is the music teacher at Heritage?
Mr. Bruce.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah.
Brandon Bruce.
How long has he been with us? Because I thought.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Got a second?
Second.
Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
H, discussion and vote to approve the following technology quotes for the 2021-22 school year.
Move to approve the technology quotes.
Second.
And this is a part of our annual technology plan. We budget a certain amount every year to replace technology throughout the district. Mr. Batson is in charge of going out and getting the quotes and his recommendations for those. If you have any specific question about it, I'm sure he can educate us. But that's what these bids are.
1,200 Chromebook Max cases, Dell, 32,000. Is that for, tell me what it's for. Is that for all the students to have their?
Yes, so, all of the Chromebooks come in cases that are built in, so they come they're in the case, so they can use it while it's in the case. But we have a lot of them that need to be replaced. And so that is for new Chromebooks and for Chromebook bags that are not able to be cleaned or repaired.
We have 1,200 that need to be replaced.
Yeah, we're estimating that, but yes, probably.
And I'm thinking that it's gonna be more than that.
Now, this is used from grade 12 down to
Second grade.
what?
Second grade.
To second grade.
Set aside the money from the Cherokee Nation gives us. Has that been earmarked to go into technology at
Well, it
least?
goes in the general fund, we earmark a certain spot out in the general fund to pay technology.
I knew we were taking a certain amount from.
Any other discussion?
Whoa, I just saw that one of the things there is the first, the 1,200 Dell 3100 Chromebooks, 260,800.
1,200 computers.
Wow. That's-
The other was just a cases for me.
That was just the case.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna spend that much on the computers, I guess we better have.
Yeah.
$217 per computer.
Really cheap.
That's really good.
Adding in my calculator, sorry.
Now, how
I
often-
probably did that in my head.
How often do we do that, Robert? Well, we
Well-
have to replace those.
We do this every year, but this is the first year we have devices in the kids' hands. So last year we purchased 700 Chromebooks. So we have to kind of estimate how much we're going to have to replace. So typically we would do 700, so we added some more to give us some extra room. So we would just typically would replace our oldest Chromebooks. So the plan for this year will be to replace Heritage's Chromebooks and then supplement the ones that we can't repair.
So we're pushing $400,000 in the technology.
But we've been all technology basically for,
And we do this for a year. I mean, we have to swap out teacher computers, swap out kid computers. I mean, it's with the 3,600 kids, 500 employees, it's a big task to always keep that going. So that's why this plan is
So there's like a new computer every year?
somewhere.
some.
Everybody doesn't get a new computer, no.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to interject that I had my 11-year-old, 10-year-old grandson spent the night with me on Friday night. There was a great discussion about what the Chromebooks wouldn't do and that their computers at home would do, and why didn't we have iPads or something? So I explained that, the amount of money that it costs. And I said, it costs $500,000 or more to give everyone a Chromebook. And to which James said, wow, is Mr. Ashlock that rich?
I'm telling
This
you.
is the only place I get to spend that much money.
Well, I don't feel quite so bad
Yeah.
about giving Brad a hard time. When he asks for a new car.
When it comes down to it, I
I can
spend
tell you
about
that
40 million a year.
If these iPad cases, if you're not figuring one for every student that's been virtual the whole year, you're probably gonna have to change, because they don't, I've had kids that have had these iPads at home for a year and they're not, they still work, but like the cases don't hold up, the buttons fall off and the things fall off, and it protects the actual pad, but
Right.
they get little ones, especially using them every day.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm surprised that we don't have to replace all of them every year especially after a year like this, where even the
Right.
students who are in class are using them almost every day. Like, those things are not, they're not really made for that kind of durable, everyday, day in, day out use.
So
And taking them on the bus, coming
The
to school.
backpack and,
backpacks thrown and down.
And we
Yeah.
anticipated that. I mean, we know that
It's part of,
you sit at home, something's gonna get broke. So it's gonna get worn out, especially when they're using it all year, they're full-time virtual. So it's just,
and we are still, there were a lot of schools
that we're not able to provide to everyone like we did. I think
Yes.
we are in the minority that we were able to provide both in-person and virtual students with devices. A lot of parents and friends that have kids in other school districts, there were some that they got them for income requirements, or some only the virtual kids got them. And the fact that we gave every student a device for a year is pretty fantastic.
You ready for the vote? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mrs. Walker?
Aye.
And I. I don't think I've said that all tonight. Wendy, I voted aye for everything so far. Wow. Okay, business items. Consent docket.
I move to approve items I-1, A through J.
Second that.
Discussion?
Yeah, I have a question here too. I know that when the high school hosts a tennis tournament, the tennis courts that we have are not adequate to handle all the teams, and thereby we use the high school. Is the same thing true with the baseball? Are we hosting a baseball tournament that requires that we use something besides our own wonderful facility to use the college facility as
Yeah,
well?
we have a large tournament each year.
We do, with both of them, yeah. Okay. That's what I wondered. I assumed that was the case.
Any other questions?
I move to approve.
Okay, I think I have a motion in a second.
Oh, okay.
Thank you though, Ed.
Yeah, oh, well.
Mrs. Walker?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
And I. J, discussion about to approve a revision in the 2020-21 school calendar.
This is our current calendar. What we're doing is we just backtrack and we put in the virtual days because of the weather. So we have to update this with the state each time we make a change. So we're not changing any of the days that we were going to school or anything, but we just had to swap out in person for virtual for the weather days. So that's what we're approving there.
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mrs. Walker?
Aye.
And I. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve calendar number 3 as the 2021-22 school calendar.
Did we have a copy of that calendar?
Yes.
Did I miss it?
All three of them have been in your packet
They're
with the
attached.
voting
It was
results.
attached to the e-meetings program.
Attached to what?
It was attached to that signal program.
That's fine.
I don't.
Your online
I looked
program.
over it somehow.
I
Because
don't
I
have
thought I
that.
looked for it. I got it here.
Huh?
I got it here.
It's on the,
Yeah, I think it's on mine.
yeah, it's fine. That's fine, if the two judges
Okay.
choose.
68% voted.
I just saw who voted for.
So there's one, they had 3, and they voted on.
I saw the tally sheet.
Yeah, and there's a tally sheet with each of the calendars there.
Okay. I missed that. I clicked on it. I thought I was looking for it, but
The only difference, it doesn't have the 2 spring break days.
Down towards the bottom.
yeah, that's, I don't know. Just want to rock it or something. So I-
It's not a touch.
And kind of
I know.
just a general explanation of the process. The calendar is approved in this manner each year. Basically, here at the BOE and at the annex, we come up with 1 to 2 calendars. We came up with 2 this year. We do one to just closely mirror last year, and then we make some modifications on the second. And then we have a calendar committee that meets to review them. And then they come up with a third option.
3 is what we chose.
And then that third option actually won the voting this year. This is the calendar committee choice. That's the calendar that they created. Once we have the 3 calendar options put together, we look over them and make sure it meets the state requirements for hours and all the spring break dates and things like that match up. Then we send it out to vote. And the voting response was 68% for calendar number 3, and 24% for calendar 2, and 8% for calendar 1. So tonight, we're recommending what the vast majority of the staff voted for, 68% calendar number 3.
I'll move to approve calendar number 3 as the 2021-22 school calendar.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Walker? Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
And I. Item I, item L, discussion and vote to approve or not approve the schedule of encumbrances.
I move to approve L 1 and 2.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mrs. Walker? And I. And motion to vote to approve or not approve personnel items.
I'll move to approve the resignation on item M1 with the exception of Jennifer Blackbear, who rescinded her resignation.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Mr. Myers?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mrs. Walker?
Aye.
And I. Is there any new business?
No.
Sean, I think you ought to do the honors.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Nobody wants to discuss. Mrs. Walker?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Myers? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
And I.
Final aye.
Final aye.